I remember exactly what it felt like to be stuck. Like life was happening, but I wasn't really in it. I had the job, I had the title, I was a doctor, but I kept thinking, this can't be all there is. That moment was the beginning of everything that I have built since. So if you're stuck right now, I have something important to tell you. In this video, I'm going to break down what feeling stuck really means, why smart, capable people stay stuck for years, and the hidden signs that it's actually time for a change, even if you don't feel ready. I'll share the 3 fears that keep most people frozen, plus the psychological trap that makes change feel dangerous, and the tiny but powerful shifts that helped me get unstuck without blowing up my life overnight. So if you're sitting in that uncomfortable space between this isn't working and I don't know what comes next, stay with me. This might be the turning point. So let's start here. Stuck doesn't mean broken. It doesn't mean lazy or unmotivated. It means misaligned. Misaligned with who you really are. Misaligned with what matters to you now, not 5 years ago, not when you were choosing your major, not when you first took the job that was supposed to be the one. And if you've outgrown something, even if it once fit beautifully, there's no amount of hustle or gratitude that's going to make it feel right again. You're not alone. According to a recent poll, 60% of people say they feel emotionally detached from their work. That's not just a bad day at the office. That's a chronic state of disconnection. And it's not just work. I talk to so many people, especially mid-career professionals, who say, I've done everything I was supposed to do. So why does my life feel flat? For me, I remember this very specific Sunday night. I was in the kitchen packing my kids' lunches for school, and this wave of dread just washed over me. It wasn't burnout. It wasn't about being tired. It was this quiet voice whispering, is this really it? And that scared me because I had everything that I'd worked for. But I wasn't in my life. I was performing it. As Marcus Aurelius said, it's not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. That quote hit me like a brick the first time that I read it because I realized I had built a life I was supposed to want, but I hadn't actually chosen it, not consciously, not fully. So let's talk about why smart people stay stuck. Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. People don't stay stuck because they're weak. They stay stuck because they're smart. Smart people overanalyze. We want the right answer, the perfect timing, the guarantee. So we stay in limbo. We weigh options, we gather data, we listen to all the podcasts, read all the books, and do absolutely nothing. In my experience, both personally and from the thousands of conversations that I've had, there are 3 fears that keep high achievers stuck. Fear 1 is fear of regret, which shows up when you have thoughts or worries of, what if I make the wrong move? We put so much pressure on the next step that we forget we're allowed to make adjustments. But when you're someone who's used to succeeding, the idea of wasting time or making a bad decision can feel paralyzing. Number 2 is fear of judgment, aka, what will people think? This one runs deeper than we admit. You've built a reputation. You've spent years becoming the reliable one, the accomplished one, the expert. Changing course feels like opening yourself up to criticism, or worse, disappointment. When I started to pull away from medicine, people were confused. Some were supportive, but others, I could feel their disapproval, like I was throwing something away. But they weren't living in my body. They didn't know what it was costing me to stay. Here's the situation. No matter what you do, people are going to judge you. It's not, what if people judge me? It's, people are going to judge me. That's just what people do. We all do it. And it doesn't matter how right this decision is for you, people are going to continue to judge you. Just last week, literally, I was at an alumni brunch for the university that I attended for med school, and I was chatting with a man who had graduated from the same medical program as I had just a couple of decades before me, and he asked me where I was practicing, and I told him, that I had practiced for 20 years as a family doctor, but was no longer practicing clinical medicine. And he balked and said, "No, you've got to get back out there. You are needed." And, I kind of laughed it off. But then later on, he came and found me as I was chatting to someone else. And he said, again, "I really hope you'll change your mind." He didn't even ask me what I was doing now. He didn't really care. In his mind, and in many people's minds, the only thing a doctor is supposed to do, ever, is practice clinical medicine. On my channel here, on one of my videos where I go into detail about my personal decision to leave medicine and how hard it was, but how it ended up being the absolute best decision that I have ever made. Even though a lot of people are just so supportive in the comments, there were definitely quite a few who took exception to my decision and made it clear, sometimes not very nicely, that I should not have left, or worse, should never have taken a spot in med school in the first place. I guess 20 years of practicing isn't enough. So anyway, this fear of judgment, though, is a biggie, and it definitely keeps a lot of people stuck. But the thing is, you've got to decide who you're living your life for. Is it for you, or is it so that other people can feel comfortable with your choices? Okay, so the third fear that keeps us frozen is fear of identity loss. This shows up sounding like, if I'm not this, who am I? This one hits hard. It happens because you have built your life around a role, a title, a field, an identity. Even if it doesn't fit anymore, letting it go can feel like a death. Because if you're not that, then what's left? I felt this one big time, and it was a big part of what kept me in my career for much longer than I should have stayed. By the way, I'll link the video where I detail my own career change story right up here. Next, I want to dig a bit into the psychology of all of this and talk about why change feels so dangerous. There's actually a name for this. It's called status quo bias. It's a cognitive bias that makes us favor what's familiar, even if it's not ideal, because our brains equate familiarity with safety. Change requires uncertainty, and uncertainty lights up the fear center in the brain like a fire alarm, which is why, even if you're deeply unhappy, it can feel safer to stay in a life that doesn't fit than to walk towards something unknown. But as Joseph Campbell said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." That quote is not just poetic, it's true. On the other side of that fear is you, the real you, the one who has been buried under layers of shoulds and expectations and old dreams that quietly expired while no one was looking. So now let's look at the hidden signs that it's time for a change. Most people wait for a crisis before they make a change, but the signs come long before the breakdown. They're just quieter and easier to ignore and easier to explain away. Here are 3 signs that you might be ready for a change, even if you are still telling yourself that you should be grateful. 1, you fantasize about a completely different life, not a beach vacation, a different life. One where you do something that actually lights you up, one where you feel free, seen, alive. You catch yourself imagining a version of you that feels more real than the one going through the motions. That fantasy, it's not foolish, it's a breadcrumb, a clue. And most people don't follow it, not because it's unrealistic, but because it's inconvenient. Number 2, you feel like you're performing instead of living. You've mastered the role, you know how to show up and do the job, say the right thing, keep the machine running. But inside, you're disconnected. You're playing a character that you no longer recognize. I remember walking into the clinic some mornings and feeling like I was slipping on a costume. Stethoscope on, professional smile, everything in order. But it didn't feel like me anymore, and I couldn't admit that at first because I'd worked so hard to get there. Number 3, your body is whispering or yelling. This one is sneaky. Maybe your sleep is off. Maybe your migraines are worse. You're constantly exhausted, even after rest. Your nervous system is always buzzing. That's not random. The body often registers misalignment before the mind can catch up. I used to think that I just needed more yoga, more green juice, a better planner. But the truth, I was living out of sync with who I really was. When you're on the right path, your body will feel it. And when you're not, it will feel it then too. Sometimes what looks like burnout is really a soul that has outgrown its surroundings. Now, if you're nodding along right now, this might be your signal. By the way, if you are ready to take a first step, then I have created something to help you do exactly that. It's called The Reset, a free 5-day challenge that gives you short, powerful prompts to clear your head, get your energy back, and reconnect to what actually matters. You can sign up below totally free. It's the kind of thing that I wish that I had when I was in the thick of it. Now, let's talk about how you actually get unstuck without burning everything down. So now you know that you're stuck, and maybe for the first time, you're allowing yourself to admit it. That's not a failure, that's the beginning. Let me walk you through 3 things that helped me to get unstuck, not by burning my life down, but by reclaiming my direction, one bold step at a time. Number 1, ask better questions. When I was in the thick of it, I kept asking, what should I do? As if there was a right answer out there that I just hadn't found yet. But that question kept me spinning. The better question was, who do I want to become? That shifted everything, because the path forward isn't just about doing, it's about becoming. Forget job titles for a second. Who is the person that you want to wake up as a year from now? What does she value? How does she spend her time? What energizes her? Number 2 is take tiny, bold moves. Here's the paradox. The more stuck you feel, the smaller the move you need. Big leaps are sexy, but most real change starts with something embarrassingly small, like journaling every morning, or signing up for a workshop, or saying no to something that you usually say yes to out of guilt. For me, one of the first bold moves was quietly signing up for a writing retreat. No one knew. It wasn't dramatic, but it lit something in me. It was a breadcrumb back to myself. According to behavioral psychology, action reduces fear. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be forward. Number 3, create a future you want to run toward. This one's big. Most people try to escape what they hate, but you'll make more progress when you are pulled by something you love. You don't need a 10-year plan, but you do need a direction, a vision that feels exciting, even if it's blurry. And sometimes all you need is a whisper, just a sense or a flicker of something that feels like a possibility. Howard Thurman said, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it." Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. I love that quote because it reminds me the world doesn't need more shoulds. It needs more people doing work that moves them. If you've made it this far, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too old. You haven't missed your shot. You are in a season of awakening, and that's sacred. So here's where to begin. 1, stop waiting for clarity. Clarity doesn't strike like lightning. It emerges through action. So start small. Follow the tiniest tug of curiosity. Pick up the thread and see where it leads. Number 2, honor what you already know. There's a part of you that already knows what's not working. That part, it's trustworthy. Start listening. Number 3 is borrow my belief until you find your own. If you're still unsure, that's okay. Borrow mine. I know reinvention is possible because I've done it, and I've walked hundreds of others through it. Leaving medicine didn't happen overnight. It took years of nudges and false starts and quiet experiments. But looking back, it was the best decision I ever made. Not because it was easy, but because it was mine. I didn't want to spend my life watching from the sidelines of my own story. I wanted to be in it. Fully, messily, proudly. And if you're feeling stuck, maybe this is your moment. Not the breakdown, the beginning. If you want to help taking that first step, I would love for you to join me in the Reset. Like I said, it's a free 5-day challenge to help you to clear the fog and reconnect to what matters and start moving forward. The link is below in the description. The truth is, you don't need a total life overhaul. You just need a spark, a shift, a reset. You're not done yet. I will see you in the next video. By the way, I'll link the video where I do detail my own career change story right here. Up here. Up here. Oh God. I never know which side it is. I think it's up there. Anyway, let's go back.